that came in through from the state minister for education and sports. And then, of course, we did also see the National Council of Sports also saying a lot of things about her, of course, not being and her not giving accountability. But before that, we did also see eyebrows raised by some of the individuals in that in the team. Why? Because of one or two things, and one of them was because she had planted in a few of relatives who were right there. Even the marketing manager was said to be her boyfriend, I should say. A lot of scenarios, allegations came through, but all in all, she was written to step aside. I did also see when the accountability papers were made, she was one of the names that was arrested, just like Alex Muhanji of boxing, who were arrested and detained at Luzira for purposes of course, investigations to go on smoothly. And indeed, later on, after a while, she was brought out because of one or two things. But all in all, we did see that go very well. Now, it's not the first time, because the Netball Federation has always had issues after even elections were always not said to go smoothly. It has not been going because we have seen also the last person who was in charge, the lady who didn't want to leave office after, of course, even she couldn't call for elections after like 10 years right there. So those were some of the challenges in there. Now, this announcement of course, re-election comes follows, of course, the withdrawal of the Uganda National, in fact, Uganda Netball Federation that, of course, came through. This certificate was withdrawn by the National Council of Sports. Yes, we did see that certificate being withdrawn by the National Council of Sports, which led to the committee being, of course, appointed to manage sports in the federation, in, of course, the country. Now, in addition to the elections, there is a new draft that has also come in, a new draft of constitution, which is, of course, scheduled for adoption at the General Assembly that took place on Saturday, September 2021 in Lugogo. That's where the meeting took place, and a lot of things came through right there. Moses Mwase, the chairman of the normalizing committee, has also emphasized that the importance of the election being conducted under, that is, the new constitution, to ensure a smooth, of course, transition and establish a solid foundation for the future of netball in Uganda, because there has been a lot of ups and downs in the Netball Federation. We did see ladies coming through complaining that they were not being paid their allowances, they're not treated well, and that really affected a lot of things that probably we could be looking into. So that is exactly what has come through right from the decision that has come in there. However, if you look at the same announcement that came in there, has not been also without, of course, controversy, because that has made a lot of things to go through in there. So a group of netball stakeholders, of course, recently petitioned World Netball the same time, and of course alleging that the normalization committee had failed to fulfill its, of course, mandate to see that things go in there. Now, of course, the petitioner voiced a concern about the disruption of to the, of course, the netball governance, and questioned Mwese's proposal, saying that this is not right, and they have to change the federation name to Uganda Netball and introduce a new logo that should be coming there. I did tell you that the national, by the way, the federation, by the way, does not even have anything like a website that you could get information from. Why? Because you see, there is a lot of challenges. Most of the times, the posts and the rest of the things are put through the National Council of Sports website, so which, of course, is also going to be affecting us in following stories depending on the netball, asking what exactly the netball is all about, and that is one of the big things that has been talked about. But all in all, I want to say this has been a challenge through the National Council of Sports, through the federation, and of course the people in charge of the teams right there. And netball has been one of the biggest names to talk about, because they have had a well-organized champ to see that they prove to Ugandans that we can also do. We've seen very many ladies succeed in netball and go out. We've seen one at Thunderstorm, we've seen one at Lightning, we've seen a lot coming in there, the Mary Numbers, the Proscovias. And what does this mean? That means if the level of this organization keeps going on, these are professional players who play in the diaspora and see that they play even international games, they play continental games, and this may affect them not to come into the league. Why? Because yeah, you really would be seeing that maybe it's not going to be the right time for them to prove the rest of the people wrong. So they will not want to be in a mess that is coming in there. And in case that happens, you'll have to wait until they are right to see that things go in the right manner. So I want to say this is so challenging and so big to see that it will be one of the names in the country to be talked about, because netball is one that has lifted the flags very high. It has raised, of course, a lot of things that has come in through to see that the development, because a few days ago we did see, or a few months ago we did see also the development of netball in Western region grew up, because there were concerns. I remember when Chitio came through, she promised a lot of things. She proved that she would be getting a lot of things. But we saw people coming back in a full mode to see that they will be right there. So it's one of the biggest challenges that we are seeing. But according to also different games and details that went after the meeting on Saturday, the new, of course, the new names that follows, of course, the international trends. Mirroring, of course, the organization of this, of course, organization of the different sectors, including the Netball Australia, the Netball New Zealand, England Netball, and not forgetting, of course, also Netball South Africa. Yes, those are some of the big names that are coming in there. So we're waiting to see how this would be coming in Uganda and see that things go rightly. So as we talk, the normalizing committee was appointed by the World Netball to manage, of course, the day-to-day operations of Uganda Netball Federation after, of course, the National Council withdrew its certificate in November over, that is, issues of accountability and governance that was lacking into the team. And the committee's mandate includes overseeing the transition until a new board is going to be appointed or elected for, that is, the national, the Uganda Netball Federation. So that is what is affecting the Netball Federation. You should be also very ready to see that these things go rightly into the hands of the right persons, because the elections will be coming in there. Now, in other stories in the athletics world, Joshua Cheptegei has fallen short in Amsterdam yet again. Yes, a very big one. Yesterday we did see talks about him, and the podium had, of course, Idris Mukhtar of course, Ethiopia, and then Joshua Cheptegei of Uganda, and Matthew Chimeli of Kenya, who all came through right there. All eyes were, of course, on the Olympics and the 3 times world champion, a record winner. I'm talking about Joshua Cheptegei, as he lined up for, that is, the 38th NDD. I mean NN Dam. Yes, it's called the NN Dam Tot Domlop. That came through. But the Ugandan distance runner could not really achieve whatever he wanted, because he was overtaken in there. Now, Cheptegei was one of, that is, the most dominant athletes, I should say, or is one of the most dominant athletes in the world per now. And he had, of course, to settle second place right from yesterday's race, finishing, of course, the 10 miles race in 45:18. Yes, 45:18, or that is the game that they had yesterday, Sunday, in Amsterdam. That was, of course, you can say where Daku Farouk stays in Netherlands. And, of course, from the start, Cheptegei set a fast pace, trying to prove every other person running alongside, of course, the last year's winner, Matthew Chimeli, who was also one of the biggest one, but of course a competitive leader pack that meant that he needed really to make sure that he got himself through. But in the race, that seemed poised to go, of course, in favor as leading group over the 9 runners pushed really so much and had out through the streets of Amsterdam that they could not really achieve. However, it was Ethiopia's Mukhtar Idris who, of course, stole the show. Yeah, because this was so big. After slowing down, he had to add his pace and proved every other person wrong. That means that he needed to become the champion of last night, Sunday night, with Idris that made an early break, of course, at that is just 4 kilometers, throwing off Cheptegei and other favorites, of course, with a bold surge you could not find out because he was so close to see that this really needed to work out. And Cheptegei, yes, tried to, of course, close the gap, but around the 11th kilometers, he was already marking down and stepping low, showing, of course, a brief flash of that is the power from himself, and that, of course, made him to become the second. So that is a very big one. Cheptegei tried, yes, with 45-18, but of course was solid, but far away, couldn't get the man who has to make sure things went his way. The Ethiopian and Kenya's Ismail Kipron rounded out, of course, the podium with third place, finishing, of course, 45-44. Wow, that was a very big one in the athletics world because very many always try finding out what exactly the athletics meant, what exactly they do. But it's not an easy one. It's always so tight, so needing, and things go the right way that you could be expecting from there. And in case it doesn't, so you always want to see that things go the right way. In football, yes, Uganda Premier League already started. And a lot of things still keep going in there. Now, in a very big way, Asaf Mwebase says that his sight is on the KCCA FC because in his statement, his latest episode that he had, Coach Asaf Mwebase shared insights on KCCA, citing, of course, their season opener that was 1-0 over, that is Ura in the 2024-2025 season Uganda Premier League, and of course looks ahead to see that the challenge or the challenges and opportunities that lie ahead of, that is the KCCA this season, are very, very big because they still have a lot of chances. They still have big players, they still have good players to see that they will be dominating. So he believes KCCA is a team to look unto this season. Yeah, we did see that. We did see one other team that you should, of course, be so tight with is NEC Football Club because they are doing well, they're dominating well, they're hitting big giants. First game beat Viper Sports Club. You did see them get into another where they had to play against the team of Chitara, a very big gong again. You did see them win by, of course, 2-1. And really, they're trying to prove something. And Hussein Mbalangu is trying to prove something. So far, 2 games and 6 points. He's on table and knows what exactly it means as a coach to see this goes wild. So we're expecting a lot of things. And of course, by next month, we're also expecting FUFA Big League to kick off. And that is going to be one of the biggest moments to talk about. Still in football, there are a lot of things that have happened. And we're expecting to see that the consistency level needs to go on right here and there. Now, yesterday, that was a build-up game between Nebi Central and Calvary Football Club, a game that saw, of course, the team of Nebi Central winning by 1-0. Yes, they had a game in the due course of the week. On Saturday, they were in Mahagi, where they went and played some Congolese team. And indeed, yesterday they also had to play against Calvary Football Club, a game that was so tight and tense, but all in all, it showed them what exactly they needed to push to prove them, of course, that they are ready for the season 2024-2025 season. Now, not only that, there's also in the Alur Kingdom, where, of course, today is a match day between Jonamu, who are preparing, of course, to continue with their streak of winning, against, of course, Padieri. This game is going to be at Omach grounds, and we did see the opening or the launch of this Copa Obimu, of course, take place during also the week. And indeed, you did see a couple of things that went on at Luo grounds. Luru Congo playing with Luru Uganda. So it really had a lot to discuss. But as I talk right now, the Copa Obimu is still continuing with today's game. I've just told you it's going to be Jonam taking on of course, the team of Padier. So we are expecting a lot to see in there. This is still towards, of course, making sure that early pregnancy and, of course, teenage marriage is still, of course, worked upon. But very, very good way to say that these games went on so well. And in fact, the starter had issues because there was a lot of rain that caused a lot of people to be off, but they tried so much to go and see that this went on right there. So what do we expect? We shall be letting you know more over this every time we get to the right and concerned persons ahead of whatever comes through in the football world. Yes, a little bit of rugby because the Heathens clinched the Chabazinga Sevens title, and that was also another big one during the weekend, because weekend I always give you wrap-ups over whatever happened, with of course a dramatic 12-7 win over Walukuba, and that is the sudden death final that went on at Bugembe Stadium, making of course their second consecutive victory, I should say, in that is the national sevens, rugby 7 series. It's so big, and the final match proved to be of course trailing encounter with Walukuba's of course Ruben Kagwesije trying so much to see that he really needed to make sure things go well. He broke that is the deadlock with a of course I should say executed try that went through to see that he got himself ahead, and that is one big one. There's also Okenyi, who of course was outstanding because he gave a very nice pass to one of the names called Aaron Foyoruth, who also led, of course, to that is a successful conversation, bringing, of course, the game to a 7-7 tied. But later on, of course, they had to push so much to see that the Heathens went champions right there. In the women's final, we did see the Avengers, of course, who proved dominant with a resounding 35-0 victory over, of course, the Thunderbirds. Yet in that same manner, but of course names like Nasozi was so big in there because she spearheaded of course the attack, scoring 2 tries and converting another, while of course Peace Lekuru, yes, she also made her debut, the lady I kept telling you that from that is the Nile Leopards, who could be making movements in there, plus Christine Akelo, who also contributed to the score right there. So Avengers won, that is highlighted by, of course, a well-rounded team performance that meant that making it their 3rd win of the season. So, still going on well. And in the ladies, it was Sarah Nakafero, who, of course, of Thunderbirds, who was named as Thunderbirds, was named as the MVP, most valuable player in the women's category, while, of course, Dennis Etwao of Heathens received the men's most valuable player award. I'm talking about the MVP right there now. This Chabazinga 7 circuit was notably for, that is introducing awards for the top teams, for the top 3 teams, in fact, that went in there in the men's division. Heathens took, of course, the first place, and then Walukuba finished second, and the third was the Hippos, who secured the 3rd place. For the women's team, it was the Avengers, the winners, who were the first team. Thunderbirds as the second, and the Black Pearls went as the 3rd in right there. The National Rugby Sevens now series will resume again after 2 weeks. A break that will be coming, and this time round it will be the Mbarara Sevens that will be, of course, that is of course being scheduled for 28th to 29th of September 2024. So for the followers of rugby, that is what is happening, and that is what people are doing right through now. And still a lot of talks coming through over who do you think will be the champion yet again come through this season. Keep dropping always your thoughts about this. But for today, I want to go to the University League. That is also one big one that is going on, because Victoria University is set, and they are really trumps in that is the first circuit of the facility. And of course, you'll be seeing them also get to see how things go on for their side. Now, University League continues, but there are also other sectors in what is called the sports. Now, their rugby team also claimed unbeaten victory in the first circuit of that is the Facility Sevens tournament that was held yesterday at the university itself, in University of Chisubi, in the UNIK grounds. That was so big, where of course the competition saw from several universities coming through, battling for that is the supremacy you could talk about. But at the same time, it was Victoria University that emerged champions or victorious, demonstrating a dominance throughout the tournament and tried proving themselves right in there. Now, they were placed in Pool A alongside Kabale University, Uganda Christian University, and then, of course, Marara University. Not forgetting Kyambogo, yes, Kyambogo in that very group. And then there's a Victoria that still tried so much to see that they managed to become the champions. Now, their semi-final clash against the Unique proved to be, of course, an easy task for them, which made them to really progress to the finals, because they had gone 55-5 when that is the score, winning that game, earning, of course, them a spot in the finals to see that they get themselves through. So a very good one. That is the final match. Victoria faced Uganda Matters, indeed, which they played very well and struck the first when, of course, Malcolm Okello tried scoring, of course, converted himself into his own tries to give them a 7-0 lead in that moment. So all those are some of the things coming throughout whatever you are talking about. Chitara Football Club are also another team to talk about, because they have come through to see that they confirm who else is there now. The Hoima Best side has also just popped in and said that they have officially confirmed 2 new signings shortly after the closer of that is the 2024-2025 season. Umar Lutalo, yes, is one big one. You saw him at Sports Club Villa. And Rogers Mugisha, who will, of course, also start a new chapter right from this side in there. They confirmed this. And Lutalo, remember, was so big. He's a champion with Sports Club Villa. Meanwhile, Mugisha last time played for SC Hosen in Denmark. He's also right into the team. Each one of the 2 players has signed 1-year deal at the club with the Royals respectively. So we shall be waiting to see what exactly comes in there. Head coach Chitara's head coach, Brian Senyondo, believes that these players are going to add a lot. They are young players. They are quality young players, and they will be adding to their books, his books, in for what exactly will be coming right there. So he feels this is going to be a very good time for him to talk about this time around. So for Rogers Mugisha, he's young, yes, but of course ambitious, and he has the ambition to achieve whatever it takes in there. And for Lutalo, he's of course last 3 seasons at Villa has proved to see that he will be adding something, because he understands the Ugandan League, unlike, of course, the man Rogers, who will have to adapt and acclimatize to the environment and see what exactly that means for him. But for this Lutalo guy, I think he's just going to be a quick learner, a quick adapter to that is the team, and of course the style of play. Brian Senyondo has been one of the key names to talk about in coaching, and he has really proved right. Very many people wrong by saying that he was young. Yes, he started a lot. He had very many teams. You've seen him come up with academy here and there, but this time around, we will want to see what exactly he will do. Let's take a break. We will be right back shortly to give you more of that is the games and